Yo, what's up everyone? Kyrios here, and today we are going to do a Ruby deep dive review. Now I'm very excited about this one, but we have a lot to cover, from the matrices to the rotation to the star upgrades and where we think maybe the breakpoints are and some cool things that we saw along the way. Now if you guys can, hit that like and subscribe. We'll have the chapters down below. Check out the Tower of Fantasy playlist, and let's get started. Okay, so once again, a lot of these numbers are going to be a little napkin mathy, but it'll get us close and it'll give us a sense. So for the matrix, we do need to set the stage, and that stage is, since Ruby's matrix requires using a skill, we're going to always use the skill in a rotation based around that. So the rotation that we're going to do when we're testing out all these matrices is going to be use the skill, auto attack all the way through the change until the skill goes away. So roughly about 16 to 18 seconds. And then compare damage. All right, first up, 𝙀𝙓 plus Ruby. Now quickly, we'll speed run through the rest of these, but the number we're looking for is this final number. Sometimes I forget to click on the spark on the left to show you the actual damage, but most of them I do. But the final number is what we're going to compare with these matrices. So we got about 4 more to go. Let's go ahead and speed run through those. All right, Ruby and Samir. All right, we get a 2.7 on the Ruby and Samir. Now, this is dependent on your crit rate, and I'm only at about 60%, so you'd probably see better results at about 70% with 𝙀𝙓. All right, Samir and 𝙀𝙀. This time we get some interesting results. 2.7 final matches our previous, so we'll compare that at the end. All right, 4-piece Ruby. All right, we have a new winner on the board, but not by very much. Now we have one more to compare. Let's try putting Ruby on King and then Samir and 𝙀𝙀 on Ruby. Oh boy. Okay, let's talk about these results. All right, that's a pretty conclusive matrix test. I mean, I could have done it better, but I think that just goes to show you that Samir and 𝙀𝙀, from a free-to-play perspective, and just those matrices alone, are just very, very good. You can see these numbers are very, very close. 2.4 is obviously the worst 𝙀𝙀 plus Ruby, but once again, if my crit was at 100%, I bet you this would be the best one. But 2.7, 2.7, 2.8, 2.9. So there's no real big difference here. Now, I do want to point out that I did put a note that having Ruby's 4-piece on Annabella with her short cooldown, and considering that she does like 50% to 60% of the damage in the fire team once you have Ruby and Annabella, that's probably going to be ideal. And then putting Annabella's matrices on Ruby. So, but until we get there and we have that proc and that uptime tick, it's just not that big of an upgrade right now, but it's still a nice matrix set. There's nothing wrong with it. All right, so we have the rotation test, and there's really only 2 rotations. There is a third rotation. I will show it to you as well. But the rotations that we're going to do is just the standard left click rotation going through all 5 attacks. That one you set on the ground makes it very easy if you're at mid range to hit the scale, get those bounces going, everything like that. And then we will do the aerial rotation, which, spoiler alert, this is one of the best. But in order to do this rotation, you have to left click until it does the downwards Kamehameha. Then you're going to dodge cancel it and continue the left click from there. So it does require energy. It does require timing that dodge properly. And then you won't be able to dodge while you have the skill bouncing either. So it gets a little awkward at times. And then finally, we have the lockdown rotation where you do left click ×2 and then hold left click in order to do the lockdown. Now that puts a burn, and this works very well with Cobalt. Unfortunately, I do not have Cobalt, so I could not test the rotation, but it requires at least an A3 Cobalt to switch back and forth to hit that burn into Ionic Burn and go and essentially go back and forth and then alt on Ruby. So let's show the numbers off real quick. All right, for the sake of the video, we already just showed off the rotation, but we did all 3 of these rotations several times with essentially the Samir and Crow set on all 3, so that was consistent. And then what we did is that we did an ability spam, just like we did on the previous test. And when the ability ended, we ended the rotation, so we'd always see it through fruition. But what I want to showcase here is left click spam. We got on average around 2.4 million. Aerial cancel, which is very awkward at times. There was times that the orb would just go off into the distance because you're having to dodge forward and back instead of left and right to try and keep that orb bouncing. Gets a little dicey depending on the size of the mob as well. But on our best rotations, it was 2.6. But at times that when that it failed, it was significantly lower. And actually in post, I'll probably edit this and add a second number here to show you those numbers. And then finally, you have lockdown span, which is about 2.3, which was actually a little surprising to me how effective that could be. Now, that's really just lockdown spamming without switching to Cobalt. So if you are planning to do that, you would have to run your own numbers to see how often you have to switch, because that burn only lasts 3 seconds. So you would do lockdown, switch, dodge, hit, switch back, lockdown, right? It gets a little dicey. But overall, the aerial cancel, if you can get it working well for you, is really good. I'm just super lazy, so I just love the left click spam, and you see a lot bigger numbers on the left click spam. Welcome to Robarg Bullying Hour, where we try to test the stars of Ruby by just bullying the living bejesus out of Robarg. Let's get started. All right, so I want to talk about these numbers just from a face value, and I'm just showing to you directly as it is. Now, in order to get some of these good hits or first hit chain, now these good hits are on the 5th hit. I should write that in there. We'll just modify that on the go. But we tried to make sure that we had the proper stacks. We didn't have all these relics on cooldowns and stuff like that. But you're going to see some pretty interesting results here. And then we tried to do the same thing on the first hit where we got our Samir buff. We got, some of our other buffs running, depending if we were 3-star or higher with hot heat, and try to get that damage rolling. But I think the thing that we need to take away for here is actually the Robarg TTK. Now, there's a lot of RNG in this fight. Robarg could put up his shield or her shield 20 times. But consistently, we've gotten faster and faster with every single star. So you can see here from 0-star to 6-star that our TTK did go down significantly, especially at different breakpoints, especially from 0-star to 1-star. And then again, from a 5 and 6-star, that's mainly because of how many ultimate we're going. And then at 3-star, we did get a big boost as well. Not so much at the 2. And then at 4, we technically lost some time, but that could just be RNG, right? That time is just right in comparison that we probably just got a really bad couple fights. And I couldn't find one that was faster than 249. Now, some of these big hits and good hits are very consistent to the damage of the stars. You're going to see a very significant damage increase. About 18% is from what we saw. Now, I know that the skill says 82%, but that must mean like 82% on the percentage of her damage hit. For example, her 5th damage hit is like 258%. They must just stack onto that. It's not on the final damage part of the equation. So I think if they do that, the damage gets modified downwards to be more in line. But from 0 star to 1 star, we did see about an 18% increase. Another big jump at the 3 star, right, for that hot heat and that flame damage at 9% and 11%. And then a little bit of consistent damage. It looks like we get a little bit more benefit on these first hits than our final hits, which is really interesting. But once again, these numbers are not, they're a little napkin mathy. We've had to run these numbers a little bit more in a closed environment. But that 6 star was just an insane leap. I mean, we were seeing crits for like 250,000 damage. It was insane, Ruby 6 star. But that's completely whale territory here. So, I don't know. That was pretty cool. I enjoyed doing this. I enjoyed doing this. So let me show you the 0 star fight and then the 6 star fight side by side, and then you can see the results on time wise. And let me know in the comments down below, did this help you out? Does this secure that she just does a butt ton of damage? And if so, I will see you guys on the next video. Like and subscribe, enjoy the fight, and I'll see you next time.